All right, so let's handle this question here. And this is a triple ratio question that also involves a total over here. So we're going to really pay attention to that as we set things up. So when we read that question sentence, it says if there are 150 total spaces, how many are midsize? So this is how we want to kind of think about things when it comes to proportion problems. Typically, basing your proportion off of the question sentence is typically going to be the best way to go. So here's what I have. I have 150 total spaces, and I want to know how many are midsize. So that's what I'm going to begin to write down. Follow along with me. We have 150 total. So total equals 150. And then I'll write midsize equals blank, because that's what I'm looking for. So check this out. The first sentence in the problem says, a parking garage has compact, mid-size, and full-size spaces in a 3:5:2 ratio. Everyone, before I even write that information down, what is the comparison that we are actually trying to achieve to get a proper proportion? What are the two things that we compared in the question sentence that we're going to try to compare again? Say it for me. Say it out loud, type it into the chat box, whatever you got to do. What do we need to compare here? Yeah, we're comparing the total to the mid-size. And I'm going to highlight that for us to make it even more clear. Total and mid-size is really all I care about. So when we take a look at the ratio that's listed here, I'm going to go ahead and just remind ourselves that we have compact as 3, because that's the first one listed. Second one is mid-size, and that's the 5. And then the last one that we have over here is full size, and that's the 2. Perfect. So here's what I'm going to do with that information. I'm going to write the 3:5:2 over here. So compact, mid-size, and then we have full size. I'll just write full. My party people, help me out. Which of these can I immediately use? The 3, the 5, or the 2? Which of these is useful to me right now? Yeah, if you said 5, absolutely, the mid-size, for sure, because we see that we want to compare mid-size right there. So, very good eye. The 5 is what we'll use. Mid-size equals 5. Now, the problem is, we might wonder now, okay, we're using the 5, but do I put the 3 or the 2 over here? The answer is neither. The answer is neither. We're not going to use either of them simply because remember that proportions is all about comparing the same things in the same way. Total to mid-size. We have mid-size. Everyone, what's the one word we want to use to get a total in this particular case? Yeah, we want to add. If you said sum, absolutely correct as well. So with that, we're going to add the compact spaces, mid-size spaces, and full-size spaces. When we add them all together, 3 plus 5 plus 2, that is 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 is the total of the parts. Now that we have the total, booyah, we're good to go. We now have the proper comparison. Total to mid-size, total to mid-size. That's the key here, everyone. It's about the setup. The math doesn't matter unless the setup is correct. And so now that we have the correct setup, I can move my information over here. I can just move that off to the side, and now I can perform my operations. So here we go. We'll go ahead and compare total to mid-size, 150 over M, total to mid-size, and then that'll be 10 to 5, again, total to mid-size. Boom. There we go, everybody. There we go. So now we can continue on by cross-multiplying and dividing. You might notice that this is a times 15 relationship. Either way you want to cut it, we can just go ahead and just cross-multiply and divide so that we can see the answer more clearly. M times 10 is 10M. 150 times 5. Let's see what that is. I believe that'll be 750, but let's just go ahead and do it. 5 times 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 1 times 5 is 5. Carry the 2 is 7. So we have 10m equals 750. And then at last, we'll move forward to dividing both sides by the 10. Once we do that, we are left with a cancellation on the left, and then m equals 75. And there we are. So boom, the correct final answer here is m, or mid-size spaces. There are 75 of them, and we are all good. Remember, everybody, when it comes to proportions, if you have your setup done properly, the calculation will always be correct. So setup first. All right, so looking at this next one here, we're going to assume always, no matter what, that we're doing a brand new question because we don't want to risk getting confused or getting tricked by some of these benign looking questions. So as always, first things first, what is the area of the resulting figure? So again, it looks like we put something together, it looks like a shape, and we want to know the area of that shape. Okay, sounds good. So the area of the shape, well, I got to know what shape it is to know what formula, or to have an idea of what formulas to use. But just like the previous question, it says two congruent squares. So congruent meaning the same. So two squares that are the same with a side of 7 meters are joined edge to edge. So when we think about that again, just like we did in the previous one, 7 meters for each side. And again, we have a duplicate of it right over here. And this one again is 7 meters by 7 meters. Now, when we join them together, boom, you can consider that a rectangle. Or since it's just the sum of the areas, we can think about it as two separate squares. Either way works just fine. So if you think about it like that, like the area of square 1 plus the area of square 2, well, we can say that the area of the first one is a square, so it's 7 times 7. And the area of the second one is just 7 times 7. We can think about it just like that. And so if we bring this down a notch, let's go ahead and write this out. 7 times 7, everybody, is going to give us, that's going to be 49, nice and easy. And if we add that with what we know the other area is going to be, 49, add both of these together and we will get 98 square meters. Because the first one is 49 square meters, the second one is 49 square meters. Add them together and we get 98 square meters. If we were to add both of these together in terms of the shapes first, we can absolutely do that. I can take duplicates of each of these, put them together, and what we would have is 7s on the side over here. This over here would be 7 plus 7 because we have, again, both sides. 7 plus 7 being 14. So if we wanted to find the area that way, we could absolutely go with 14 times 7, and that's still going to give us 98 square meters. And there we go. Again, two different ways to do the same exact problem, because in this question, hear me out, in this question, because we're looking for the combined area, we know that area is the space that we cover. So with that said, hey, the space that we cover can be the sum, the addition of these spaces individually. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a peek at the next one, give it our best try, and as always, learn from any mistakes that we might make. We got this.